By the way,
I'll cut it
any
out.
women that need to know, I am actually much older than Din. Din is currently how old are you, 18 years old?
18 years.
Yeah, I am way older than Din, if you're wondering, by the way.
They were in the same class.
Yeah, we was in the same
We were in the same class.
He's a lot
yes,
older.
but I was
Doesn't that
held
mean
back.
you're tough?
I was held back because I couldn't read well like Mary said. Yeah.
Okay, so you're willing to take the illiterate bit for the age thing?
Was. I had a speech impediment.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
that was sort of an introduction if I keep that in.
Yeah, I guess.
But like artistically, what do you do?
I'm a photographer, graphic designer, in the best ways possible. I'm a creative. I hate saying that word. But, imagine the good aspects. Don't imagine somebody that's, I guess, on the internet ranting about how it's so hard to find a job in the creative scene. But except for that, yeah, I'm a creative person. I like doing things, like creating things, like coming up with ideas and executing.
Right, and like how big would you say photography is in all of that to you?
I guess for me, kind of, I guess it's like a 70%. Yeah, I want to say it's like a 70% split. So 30 would be, I guess, the rest of the stuff. But I guess if people look at it, they just think it's 100% photography.
Yeah, that's how it comes off.
Yeah, it comes off as 100% photography. But maybe for me, I want to say it's like actually it's a 50% split. I think it's a 50% split. But I don't actively show the work. Like if you know type thing. So it's like that's how I've done a lot of my work. I feel like I don't want to confuse people's brains too much on the Instagram. Just showing, oh yeah, here's some graphic design stuff, and here's some like fashion stuff, here's patterns that I sewed and all that stuff. But no, just keep it to the photography for now. Then it'll change over time.
So that is the plan. So have photography take you to a certain place, and then you use your skills for other things.
Yeah.
Do you use those skills for your photography?
I guess yes, the skills help me, all the skills I've learned, because my dad was a photographer, so I've been surrounded by photography for like years now. So it's like a lot of the things I guess that people would struggle in their like first year of photography, I didn't struggle in because I knew how to do it.
So you're a nepo baby?
Not really. Actually, I'm probably like the opposite of a nepo baby. I thought completely. Like the only thing I probably gotten was a skill. Like I've had like no opportunities through my dad at all. Thank you, Dad.
That's really the worst. I was talking about that to my friend today because it's like the nepo baby argument is they put in the work ethic, but we have to put in the work ethic and find the opportunities. It's really not fair.
Sure.
It's really not now.
No, I think it's fair to some degree. I think if they have the skill, they have the ability, and their parents, family member in a position to do so, then it's fine. Like if I was in that position and I knew my kid is better than me and I'm trying to be the best photographer in the world, then of course I'm gonna put the kid on, but I'm not gonna overdo it. Like you're gonna get like your first entry placement or maybe your first job. I might help you, but like except for that, you're on your own. I feel like it's not fair, but like nothing's fair.
Yeah,
Can't complain.
I get that. How come like your dad being a photographer didn't give you any opportunities? Is it like a side thing or?
He did it. I guess he wasn't as quote unquote creative with it. Like he did a lot of event photography, so he did a lot of like corporate events. So it was really like cut and dry. So like, oh yeah, so and so party, oh Christmas party, this. Like, so it wasn't as, I guess, more experimental as what I'm doing now. So I guess there was no opportunity in that space. But like, I think before I started posting on Instagram, I think I had like way more opportunity. Well, I guess he gave me more opportunities, but now I don't have any opportunities from him. So yeah, but all the opportunities were just like, I guess, learning experiences. So either like instead of him shooting at the corporate event, I'm shooting at the corporate event. So that's
So like an introduction.
yeah, more of
to your own devices.
exactly.
Yeah, fair enough. Do you think that because how would you describe your photography?
Jeez, how would I describe my photography? I say I'm trying to document, I guess, things that aren't often documented. And I know that sounds stupid because every photographer says that. And yeah, but I'm really trying to just very niche moments and just trying to capture in the best way possible. Like with this, like with Art Club, even at Bobo's, that was like my whole thing. Nobody was shooting it. I shot it. Now there are hella people shooting it.
That's
so
really right. That's right. I saw that play out.
yeah, so it's like it's one of those things. Like I wanted to shoot niche moments, so I just kind of go out on my way to shoot really odd things, or not odd things, just not popular things, or they're popular things, but I don't post them immediately. So like I have like a whole bunch of stuff that like happen and events that happen and people have done posted about them. But I'm probably gonna drop them at the end of the year. Make it a little bit more.
What does that bring to it?
I think it gives it more. It gets to stand alone on its own instead of getting caught in like the crowd of everybody else's work. Because like initially I was like, okay, yeah, this is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna take the photos, we're gonna offload the photos, edit them, then by the time I'm on the train, I'm posting them. That's it, we're gonna beat everybody, get ahead of the club. Literally 2 hours after the event, posted, done, dusted. And I'm like, it's not sustainable, doesn't really help the engagement on Instagram. People take it for granted because they're like, okay, yeah, the next hour.
Because if you're not part of that exact event from an outsider's perspective, it just how that was.
Yeah,
it does get to
it does get but if you kind of separate yourself from the crowd and trying to stop being the first person and trying to be the person that does it the best, then it works. I think it works because I've done that before. Like I just posted 1 year of Bobo's Art Club. Like half of those photos I haven't posted.
Yeah, throughout the year.
They literally have never been posted, not story-wise or nothing. So people haven't seen them, which makes them work better because if I posted them the week of, people that would have been there would have been like, oh, I saw those, oh, I was there, cool. But now they're like, oh, I remember that so-and-so memory and I can attach it to so-and-so time when I was with my friends. And I can attach it to so-and-so month when I did this and this. So...
And that just makes it more niche.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's calling upon memories and not just your short-term memory, long-term memory. So.
Do you feel like there's a compromise that you have to make by delaying your upload stuff? Or have you just hacked it?
No, yeah, 100% there's a compromise. It's definitely... I guess that like post gratification, like I'm not, I have to remind myself like, yo, like sometimes like, oh yeah, why hasn't anybody like commented on myself? Alistair, you haven't posted it. Like, I literally until last week Saturday hadn't posted in 101 days. I was like, oh, why am I not getting any jobs? Me thinking I'm still shooting, but I'm not posting anything on my Instagram. So I guess it's that trade-off that like I'm not gonna get people in the comments like, oh my god, this is such great work. Immediately, I just have to like be patient, and that's it.
Do you feel like you've learned from people in the past their photography, but you're making it your own style, or do you just feel like you've been inventing your own thing?
I think I've learned from a lot of people. I've taken inspiration from a lot of people now that I'm glad enough to call at least my peers or mentors or people I still look up to this day. Like for instance, DMO Chase, Mello, Henry Goodfellow, Finn Flynn, just to name a few. Those four were like the reason I even posted on Instagram, because I saw them do it, so I was like, I can do this as well. I think my photography is good enough to post. I think I can do it in my own way. But yeah, those are definitely influences on my work, but I always try and focus on like, I don't know, I feel like they've influenced my work, but like they've also like done the opposite. Like they've also not, like I've seen what they've done and be like, I don't like that, and just done it my own way. It's like, I don't like film photography, but I get my inspiration from film photographers.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Exactly. So I kind of have that same mentality when I'm shooting. It's like I have a certain round, I have a certain amount of shots that I can take, and I have to be like hitting the mark every single time. Even though I use a digital camera, I try and keep that same mindset, which makes me more intentional with my work.
Right. But like, I would still say that all those people are quite new. They're like, it's new
okay, let's go.
generation. How far back would you say inspiration?
Let's go back. Let me see if I can remember this guy's name. We'll call back on like is it the 90s, 80s? Old guy. Henry Cartier Blossom. So he was a film photographer, I think in the 1940s. His work is probably the key reason I shoot digital, which is weird because he's a film photographer once again. But his work is so...
He shoots digital?
No, he shot film, but I'm saying he's the main reason I shot. Once again, it's crazy. But so he shot a lot of, I forget what the place is called. Somewhere in Europe. It was war times. All I know, he shot a bunch of rubble, destruction, and one particular photo that caught my eye was it's a picture of a kid jumping over a puddle. Like he took the photo mid whilst the kid was jumping in the puddle, and then the backdrop it's like a whole bunch of like rubble and broken buildings. And like after that, like I went like on just a spree of just shooting like sports photography and trying to catch the emotion. And like after that I was like, yo, like this is fun. I like photography. This is interesting. I want to do this more. Like I was going out on my way to try and catch people in motion, doing things. So kind of being, I guess, expressive in the word, or I don't know, is there a word for it? Expression? I don't know. It's just catching people doing things in motion, like how film photographers were able to catch that same vibe. So I tried to replicate that. And I remember, I think one of the first times I did that was 2022 or so. And I think it was like Euros time, or World Cup time. I think Morocco won against Portugal, if I'm not wrong. Quote me on that. Anyways, I'm not a pundit, so hate me. But yeah, so I was at Trafalgar Square. Obviously, all the Moroccan fans are celebrating. I just took a whole bunch of photos. I did not care. I was shooting up in people's faces. I was catching people hanging off like flag poles. I was trying to just capture the whole vibe in images. I was just like, let me just try and express the emotions that were going on at that time in photo. So I did that by capturing it in motion. Yeah, anyways, yeah. That was, so I felt like I was yapping there.
No, that's where you got your inspiration.
That's where I got the
inspiration. You translated
inspiration.
it into sports photography.
Exactly. And
Right.
further led on to, yeah.
That's really weird how it went from that.
Yeah, it's, my mind is very, very weird. I think of things in a very different way. Like, I think, like every time I had a project in college, like I would wait until the last 2 weeks and then I'd finally perfect it in my mind. I'd be like, yo, I'm gonna do this, and then do it, and then that's it done. Because it's like, I think, I don't know, I like I said, the whole thing about delaying posts, but also before even shooting, I always want to come in with some level of intention. I want to know what I'm trying to do.
Know what you're trying to do visually, or know what you're trying to get across?
Both.
Okay.
Like if it's I want to only shoot in landscape, I'm only gonna shoot in landscape. If I want to only shoot in portrait, I only want to shoot in portrait. If I want to like be hella strict on rule of thirds or like golden ratio, I will be so strict on it, and that will be only what I want to shoot. You're looking at me funny because I said the golden ratio. But yeah, that's it. I just, intentionality is like one thing I love to always try and have with the work, because if I can't explain an image to you, then if you can't explain an image to me, then I don't think you can be a good photographer.
Do you think that if you did things candidly, it would come out as good? I
think there's I've done a lot of candid photography before. It works. It can work, but it's a lot more difficult to like, I guess, capture emotions in a certain way. It takes way more. Like, you could just get like, for example, I'll show it to you in a minute. There's a picture I took just around the corner of Tierney standing on the street corner, and it's like, it's just after we celebrated 1 year of Bobo's. Yeah, celebratory, but it's not outside Bobo's. It's on a street corner. It's just her holding flowers, leaning against a light pole. But if you look at it, you know there's something celebratory about it. You know there's something, I guess, to commemorate something. Like, you don't have a random person holding flowers. There's, once again, intentionality. It has to come down to that. It has to be pieces put together that make a story in the image. Like, you can't, like, if I took a picture of this place right now and I showed it to somebody and said, what was I trying to present? They couldn't tell me. But if I took the camera and focused on them having a conversation, or I focused on even us having a conversation, and then ask them, what am I trying to get across? Then they'd be like, people having a conversation. There's more ideas that come to mind when you focus in on things.
Do you think that's what differentiates someone that's not into photography and someone that is into photography? Or do you think that's like human nature to want to capture those specific things?
I think that's what differentiates people that, I guess, I would even say that good at photography and not good at photography. Even though photography, like art, is a subjective thing, there are like key values that every photographer follows.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what the subject is, you're gonna know about the rule of thirds, you're gonna know about your golden ratio, you're gonna know about, I guess, like speaker space, headroom, all these different things that you put together to make your thing different. Leading lines, like, it all works together. So I think that's what separates people that don't do photography versus like do photography. Because it's just, I don't know. It's like, I guess, I don't know what to say. If you look at a photographer's work, you know they're a photographer. Even if you didn't know you know they're a photographer. You just look at it, you can tell.
Yeah, and you know, that's like something that I found so difficult to explain to people with, when you, especially with like visual art, photography and film, it's sometimes you're watching it and you can tell someone's sad, or you can tell someone's feeling a specific type of way. If you're just the audience and you're not a film person or a photographer, you don't realize why you feel that way, but the person who's done the work has done that in a very specific way for it to come across that way. That's why, do you feel like books can do that as well?
Me, I am an avid book hater. Crazy thing is, I actually don't like books at all. No, it's just a lie. No. I like design books. I like books with pictures in it. That sounds stupid, but I will always protest I like books with pictures in it. Because, yeah, I'm reading. Yeah, you can use all the adjectives you want in the world, but like, I guess it can, but I want to say it doesn't, because there's, like with, it's like almost like an evolution. It's like photos, I guess, killed like books and written stuff. Video kills photos. Whatever kills video, you know. I don't know, virtual reality, I don't know. But it's like one of those things, it's like, I guess it can, but like the level up would be an image. The level up would be a video. So
you think that there's...
It could. Depends what you're reading, but I feel like it depends. It can't, like, if you're trying to tell me a story or I'm trying to read a story, but I don't think a story can effectively display what an image can or what a video can, because it's, I guess, like the writer or the artist's personality comes out via photo, via video, compared to written, because we could describe this place right here, right now, and we could get 4 people to read it, and 4 people could all think this room was absolutely different if they didn't come in here and only went off our description. A photo says otherwise. A video literally will tell you otherwise. So it can, but I feel like for me, books can It can.
I think the key word is effective.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. It's a level of effectiveness. I think the highest effectiveness would probably be a video, then photo, then a book. But it depends what the book is. Like if it's non-fiction, then it's probably very effective because, like I said, I love books with pictures in them. So I'm assuming it has pictures in it. So it's probably way more effective than.
No, okay, I mean literature.
Oh. Okay. It can, but I don't think it.
I think it still stands. It's not as effective.
It's not as effective, but it's. I guess it can still paint a picture in somebody's mind, but it's just going to be different to everybody.
Do you think that that's the main bit, though, painting a picture, as opposed to the experience? Because
of reading a book.
I don't know, I feel like humans are more naturally, they pick up on other humans, and with visual stuff that means that they pick up on it automatically. How people look, like acting. But with books, you kind of have to know how to read a book, in my opinion.
True.
Because if you're reading and you're not taking into consideration the punctuation, and you're not actively thinking about, okay, this is where the chapter ended, so I'm going to take a break and I'm going to come back tomorrow, and now I'm on a completely different point of view.
Exactly.
So yeah, I agree with like effectiveness. I think for like 2024, there's no point of reading a book if there's a movie.
I say you're wrong. I would say you're wrong. Even though, see, I know I don't like books, but I think the movie exists as. Well, it depends. Like, we put into context, like, I don't know, we use like Dune or something. Dune, the book itself, how many odd books, I forget his name now, the guy that made it, but he started the series of books. His son took it over, like, at least like 20 or something odd books in the series. You watch the film, and the film summarizes how many odd books. So I feel like if you've read the books, you can appreciate the film. If you watch the film, you can appreciate the books. So I feel like they go hand in hand, because it's almost like you learn, I guess, the lore of the film from the book, but you can also learn, I guess the footnotes of the book from the film. So it works hand in hand, especially if it's a good film. But if it's like a loosely inspired film based on a book, then no, of course not. It's not going to be the same. You're not going to feel the same way. Like, you're not going to imagine the same things.
Right. Okay. So how much do you agree with? When I read a book, I read it for the moral of the story, not really the story. And so that you can translate that into film, even if it's a loose remake. And there's so many differences. If the point remains the same, you've done the equivalent of reading the book.
So you would.
That's how I see it. That's why I value.
You'd only read the book for the moral of the story.
Yeah, I think all art should be like that.
I don't think so. I don't think you'd read it for the moral of the story, because not everything has a moral of the story. Like, it's not like.
But do you think that art should exist without a point?
I feel like there's a difference between points and morals. Like, if I'm trying to display, like, say for instance, I take a picture outside of Bobo's and everybody's standing there with the artwork. There's no moral to that. There's no there's no moral to the story of me taking. It's a point I'm trying to get across. It's a community I'm trying to display. So I feel like if there's a moral to the story, then I feel like if you can read something for the moral of the story, but like, I feel like that's very much under, like you said, like a literature bubble. That's the only way it works. Like,
what, like literature's the only art form that has that purpose?
I guess it has to have a moral of the story, because you're not reading a book just for it to go to the end and then there's nothing to it.
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna read like a whole bunch of books for nothing. There has to be a round off, there has to be moral of the story. Photography, on the other hand, film on the other hand, maybe you can have a moral of the story, but once again, it works more on experiences, emotions, and that's where you can pull your own, I guess, ideas from it. Like, we could all watch a film, and we could all have different takeaways from the film. That's how it works. Like, people can complain about like an ending to a film. Like, what does it mean? Does that mean so and so still lives? Does that mean they're still alive? Like, compare that to a book, you can't do that. There's a moral to it. It has to be around. Unless it's like a series. Once again, I'm saying, you read a book, you're not going to read it just for there to be nothing. So if there's a cliffhanger at the end of the book, there's probably another book to read.
You can have books where it just ends with nothing.
But once again, there is something.
And there is movies like that too.
Yeah, exactly. Well, with movies, it works more with movies. Because that's up to your interpretation. With a book, I don't think books can do it as effectively. I feel like you can't. I don't know if anybody watching this. If anybody's watched Mr. and Mrs. Smith on Prime Video, you'll understand what I mean. You can't do the ending of that in a book because it doesn't make sense. Cool. You have to do your research on that one. But yeah, that's the only way I can explain it. Okay, well, I'll spoil it. Anyways.
I'm not gonna watch it. I'll probably just search.
No, actually, yeah, just watch the trailer. Just watch it. You can literally look up the ending and watch it.
Okay, I'm taking your word. Yeah, that's your point.
Yeah, it backs my point. Do it now. I dare you. Do it now. We'll actually pause so you can watch this. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, 2024, ending. It should show up. If it doesn't show up, then.
What's the basis of the show?
Have you ever seen the film Mr. and Mrs. Smith with Brad? Okay. Anyways, it's about these agents. They're called the Smiths. They basically take on this identity, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. They work for somebody that basically just sends them jobs to take out so and so, do these targets, and they basically have to do it, no questions asked. They get paid in the end, but they basically work as like a fake couple, and yeah, they're just like spies.
Right.
Found it?
Says here the movie ends with the two back in marriage counselors revealing their relationship to
No. Series on YouTube. Go look it up on YouTube. Are you connected to the Wi-Fi?
I got 4G.
No, use the Wi-Fi.
Has he got Brad Pitt?
No. That's the movie. That's why we said 2023.
Do you watch everything on streaming sites? Do you ever do it illegally?
Yeah, 100%. I'm saying that on video now. I'm wholeheartedly subject.
No.
Anybody, police, I watch everything legally, obviously.
Has he got Donald Glover?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, no, watch it. You watch it. Don't say anything. Just watch it. Okay, continue.
Okay, do you think that with photography there's like an equivalent where you're just robbing a photographer? No, because it's like the Shutterstock stuff, where you're trying to get a photo of something and you can't use it because there's a watermark over it.
So
What's the equivalent of robbing streaming sites by using illegal ones? For a photographer?
not tagging them in a post.
Oh, is that jarring?
Yeah, that's literally directly stealing money from me. That's basically stealing money from me. Like, literally, I have one today that's supposed to be dropping. That is probably my biggest shoot I've ever done, and they will never tag me for it.
They're not tagging you?
They're not going to tag me for it.
You see when you've got a shoot, like someone's asked you to do a shoot?
Yeah.
Is that most of the time, or most of the time you just pull up because you want to increase your portfolio?
Sometimes I pull up, sometimes people shout me. A lot of the stuff I do for brand stuff, which is more candid stuff, they do reach out to me. A lot of the stuff where it's like at events, sometimes I get invited, but a lot of times it's just people that put me on. Shout out to all the people that put me on. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you in my heart, but yeah, they really help me out on that. So yeah, it's a lot of the times it's just, if it's not, I don't know how to explain it. I don't want to say if it's not a passion project, then I'm not being shouted for it. but it is kind of a simple. I don't know. But you done. You've done. You've seen the bit out the window. Okay. See. So. Do you think that could be effectively done in a book?
So, what do you mean? Like the second?
So that ending, you see, where they're in the safe room, you know, oh, I'm gonna go outside. We don't, obviously you don't know who gets shot. Can you think that'll be effectively done in book form?
Maybe not effectively.
Exactly.
But I still feel like it could be done to some degree.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It can't. I'll show you.
Okay, how much of the problem do you think is that you're not a good reader?
No, I'm a great reader, to be honest. I actually read really well. Trust me, the funny thing is, I read really well. I just don't like reading books. Actually, I say that. I only like reading books with pictures in it. I know it makes me sound stupid, but...
You're not reading those.
No. I read a lot of design books and photography books that have reading in it, that have words in it, okay? I don't read literature. When was the last time I read literature?
Did you go to the same high school?
Yeah.
Were you in the same class?
Yes, we were.
In the same English class?
English.
Where you have to like...
No, Miss Edgar. You were in Miss Edgar's lesson for a bit. Idiot, bro. Yeah, we were.
Did you have the popcorn reading thing?
Yeah. Oh yeah. She actually brought that in. Remember when she brought in popcorn reading? Miss Edgar. Because
What's it in?
What was that again?
How can you bring it in?
no, we didn't used to do it, and she was the only teacher. Did. Remember when we were reading text, she would make us go around the room reading. Yeah, but
Can you both read?
yeah. You were actually. He's a capable reader. I'm a capable reader. He's doing computer science. He has to be able to read in some degree. But yeah. Anyways, that's what I'm saying. You can't effectively display that in a book. That, especially that ending, how, you know, unless you're biased to certain characters, you want to believe they're still alive. If you're biased to others, you think they're dead.
But it goes both ways, though.
Exactly. What do you mean?
Like you could say the same for like doing it as a book and then doing it as a movie too. Like what you just said.
True. But I'm just trying to say, you were saying under the point that can books, yeah. Anyways, thank you. Anybody that did their research on that and actually paused to watch the video, thank you. I appreciate that. Anyways.
Where do you think like oil painting comes into it?
Oil painting.
How yeah, how useful of a medium is that?
How useful? It's very useful. I say it's a very useful medium.
Do you know what I saw like this morning? It was the Olympics, and it was a guy, and he had a canvas, and he was painting it, and someone like captioned it like, why can't he just enjoy the moment? It's like you see that with photography, but now they've done that with...
But everybody says that when they go to concerts. Not a phone in sight, and there's just hella phone. It's like, listen, people enjoy their moment, people capture moments differently. It's like he's enjoying the moment by painting the moment. He probably has great...
That's a really good way of putting it.
He has great memory, so he's probably like, I'm enjoying this moment so much that I'm recalling on my memory to paint this exact moment. I'm gonna keep it or sell it, whatever. But I'm gonna remember this moment as the time I painted this during this. Right? Nobody's gonna complain. You say the same thing with the phone. You say the same thing with the camera.
But do you think that it's like a brain rot thing, that's how we define a happy moment?
What, documenting?
Yeah.
No. I think it's one of those things that I think the older generation did it 100%. Like not me personally, it sounds crazy even though my dad's a photographer. I don't have a lot of photos when I was a kid, but I know so many people, their parents are not photographers, and they have binders upon binders of photos of every single thing that they did as a kid. So you could say the same thing. Why are you taking a bunch of pictures? Why don't you enjoy the moment? It's I guess it's more for the future, I guess. So I guess I want to be able to, with my work, I want to be able to show my kids and be like, yo, your dad did that. I'm not as old. I'm kind of cool, you know. I'm kind of cool, you know. You know, back in the day, I was chilling out at Bobo's Cafe. I know it's a $1 billion business now, but back in the day, we came from humble beginnings. But yeah, I think it is. It's just like a future thing. I guess people don't. I guess a lot of people don't appreciate the moment and will claim that other people that are appreciating the moment in another way aren't. So it's like, oh, I could be, like we're recording this now. So, oh, can you just have this conversation and remember it?
That's the big thing for me with like film. I feel like you can. The main point of me making movies would be just nostalgia.
Okay, continue.
What do you think about oil painting?
Oil painting. I like it. It's cool. It's one medium I haven't actually used yet and I haven't got to use yet, but I really want to use it. Because I feel like it's probably like, it'll probably be my favorite. Loki would be my favorite medium.
What do you think?
Never dries.
Me, I'm more focused. I've always been more like inclined to like realism. That's one thing I really like. That's most of my.
But do that how? Do oil paint or?
Yeah, for oil paint.
Yeah.
Literally just realism. I don't know why. Because I've always loved like drawing details. I really like details. But it's also been really bad. Because like deadlines are business.
Exactly.
I've never been
We
on
both know that.
deadline.
We both
Never.
know.
But that's just one thing I always liked about oil paint. I was able to express like high levels of detail through just painting.
Do you think that there's something important about the fact that you've done that as opposed to a camera doing it, just taking a photo?
Oh, I feel like 100%.
Yeah.
Because like, there's like a level of skill you also like need in oil paint to like get to the point where you can confidently sort of get a canvas, see an image, and like you know put that on the canvas and also make someone believe like that thing actually looks like the actual real life object. Because you could easily get a canvas and just try and draw, but are you gonna be able to like, let's say the person who's looking at the canvas, are you gonna be able to like make them believe that what they're looking at is its real life counterpart, or they can like, if you can trick the brain into like perceiving an object as like actual real life thing. That's sort of like, that's what I believe.
Like how when you paint, you'll convey ideas, and like if you're doing surrealism, you'll try and make it look as real as possible. So those are two things you're conveying. With photos, you can convey emotions just like paintings can, but you also have to kind of convey those emotions and make them seem genuine, especially if it's a candid thing. Like, we could all be happy and excited to do something, and we could all take a group photo, and none of us could smile.
Yeah, first.
And we could be as happy as ever. We could be like, this is the greatest thing we've ever done in our lives. We are so proud of each other. Yeah, let's take this group photo. And none of us smile. Or all of us have mixed faces. Like, some of us are smiling, some of us are looking away from the camera. So when you look at that, and then somebody will look at that and be like, what's going on? Like, terrible group photo? Like, but if everybody looked,
it comes back to intention, like being intentional.
exactly, you come back to intentionality, which is the same thing.
Yeah, okay.
You just replace, I guess, the realism for
Authenticity.
yeah, authenticity. You good? You leaving?
Yeah, I'm
Okay, see you later, man. Take care. But yeah, you said it. You literally said it perfectly. So you should come and sit here and just.
Yeah, come.
Yes, bro. Move up. Let's get. Sit in the middle. Sit in the middle. Sit in the middle. Sit in the middle. Sit in the middle.
I'm honoured that the podcast is your
Yes.
Okay, now you introduce yourself.
Alright, my name is.
No, okay, go down. Check.
So,
You have to drop government as well.
Alright, cool.
Yeah.
My name is Din Koichichi.
Yes.
It's spelled D-I-N, just for anyone out there confused.
Yes.
And I'm an art student. I do oil paint mainly, but I do other various forms as well, like just draw and pencil, really.
Yeah, he
Other
be
than
cooking
that,
up. Map aside him real quick.
yeah.
What's the computer science thing?
Or the computer science thing, because for me it was always like art and IT, and so I was all, because I stayed home a lot, like I didn't go out much, so
He had to force his dad to leave his house today.
yeah, it was a struggle, but I'm here. But what's it? I just stayed at home a lot, and so I had to like do something, and I just found myself on my computer a lot, and so that's what sort of inclined me towards more like IT as well. Same with art, because that's what I do at home. I do at art, and if I ever had time, I'd go on my computer, and it sort of dragged me towards both of the subjects. And so when it came time to pick, I wanted to sort of mix of that. So I did IT and I also did art. But I ended up doing my art for A levels. I actually missed out on my GCSEs, so I had to wait, and ended up doing art for like 2 years only.
So much.
Yeah, no, it was quite long. I remember I tried, but couldn't make it back.
But then it's also like with you saying unemployment with IT, there's the politics of being a doctor here that you have to consider because there's a lot going on with that.
Yeah.
Sure.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, what would you say is like bad taste?
Bad taste.
Yeah, like if you see something and you can't understand how anyone would think that's good.
Like, actually speak.
But in terms of what?
Yeah, you're so open.
Okay, so you.
But I have something else immediately I want to say. But you can go first then. Oh, you don't know? Okay.
Go on.
You know what's bad taste? This is going to be directed to so many people. And if we have an issue, please feel free to message me. Out of focus photos. Those are terrible. No amount of grain will make them look good. Okay? Thank you. Now, put in this here. Sometimes, not all photos have to be crisp, all in focus, because you know you're delivering ideas, motion, all of that stuff. That motion blur exists. It's not always going to be pristine and crisp. But if the subject is standing still and they're blurry, you're a bad
You don't fuck
photographer.
with that.
No.
What about like stylistically as like a just chill Instagram post?
Stylistically,
You're doing like a fit photo.
and it's a blurry photo. No.
Yeah. Okay.
It has to be something like, unless like, for instance, the only reason that would make sense to me is if it involves some level of motion. Like there's no other way, like it blur, unless it's physical blur. Like for instance, you stand behind like a stained glass window. Of course, you're not gonna. It's not. That's stylistically. That's physical. But if you and if you forgot to switch the autofocus, it's not good. It's not good. Now somebody's gonna criticize every single photo I've taken, and I don't care. It's alright.
It's okay. Say it with chest.
Yep, say it with chest.
And you know, I can't even give my opinion on that because I don't know about photography, so I'm taking your word for it. I don't fuck with blood photos.
That's it. That's it. It's not the vibe. It's not the vibe. Especially when you try and pass it off as it being like stylistic, and I know it's not stylistic. It just looks bad. Like remember, you can always.
Do you think it's like a very cheap thing to do to make your work look
No, it's a very unskilled thing to do, and it's like a. It's like
That's always worse.
No, it is, because it's almost like you're trying to convey it to be intentional, but like you can blur an in-focus photo, you can't unblur a blurred photo. You can't put a blurred photo in focus. So that's always my rule. If I want to blur anything, I'm doing it in post. If I'm blurring anything, I'm lowering my shutter speed, I'm doing it creatively, we're trying to catch motion, we're trying to show movement. That's the only reason why I'd be blurring. Or I wasn't quick enough to get my finger on the trigger, I take the photo and that's the reason it's blurry. Or focus, or whatever it had be. But do not make it seem like it was a stylistic choice because you messed up. Just don't post it. I'd rather not post it. I have hundreds of thousands of blurry photos. I will not post them. I will not post them. There's no reason to post them. It doesn't make sense.
Does it offend you that people that don't know about photography would take it all at the same level?
Yes, 100%. They probably even take it to a higher level. And I know so many people, so many photographers that their bread and butter is just taking terrible photos because they don't know what to, because they're unskilled and they literally just live off that. Like the amount of people, I said it to somebody yesterday, the amount of people I know that are such terrible photographers that have how many odd articles done on them, how many odd interviews done about them as an up and coming photographer. Like, geez, at least learn how to use your camera first, please. That's one thing. If you want to be a good photographer, learn your camera. Understand what you're doing. If anything goes wrong with your camera, you know how to troubleshoot it. You should be able to know how to use everything on your camera effectively. Then you have no issues. Then your work becomes more intentional. If your camera stops working one day, you know, it's not oh no, it's the end of the world. Maybe I just need to take out my SD card, put it back in. Like, that's it. I just feel like the whole like blurry thing, and it's not a stylistic choice. It's just unskilled.
But you're fine with it as a stylistic choice.
Maybe.
If someone's behind a stained glass. Or is that also just like bad taste?
It has to be under context. It has to be. Like there's an artist, Jack Davidson. He shoots a lot of celebrities, and he goes on sets of films and shoots with the cast members. And he's done like a couple series for, I think it was like Time magazine, of like a whole bunch of artists, and actors, and they were all kind of, some of them were blurry, some of them weren't. So like, if you can do it in a stylistic way, which that's what you're going for, and it's consistent, then there's no issue. There, you can clearly look at all the different magazine covers and you realize, yo, that's done on purpose. That was done for a reason. That was done as a series of work. That's his style, that's how he does it. He does it well. And yeah, but like, an out of focus photo and you add like a heck ton of grain to it, it's not good, man. It's not good.
It's really unfortunate that if you don't know about photography, you can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
Yeah. They might be like, oh, it's a bit blurry, but then like, some people literally just love it. They'll be like, oh my god, it's so Y2K.
It's an aesthetic,
it's so power shot, it's so Canon G7X. Like, jeez, man. I pray for you, Lord. I pray for you, Lord.
Do you have something to add?
Now, for me, I think this is not as like sort of niche. This is kind of more like based on current modern art. For me, I've always hated like the shift to like simplicity, and the fact that like current art is like, sometimes you just look at it and you wonder like what effort was really put. Like you'll go into like national art gallery museums and you'll see a piece of canvas and it's coloured blue and it's called some fancy name and it will sell for millions, and you should kind of look at it and think, but what really is the meaning behind this? Like, how much effort really went into this, and is this just a money laundering scheme? It's one of those two things. But like that's one thing I just never really liked. For me, I've always preferred like art with like great depth and detail. Like I've always just loved looking at them, because I think you can really, there's always like a story, because as an artist you can sort of relate. You can tell that that person spent hours upon countless nights probably working, getting perfectly everything, every angle, everything, to get it as right as it needs to be. Just for like all these other modern ones to like probably not even do a quarter, not even do half of all that effort, and be hailed as like the best art piece there and go for millions and just be praised. Like that's one thing I never really understood. I never liked it, because it just kind of undermines art. Like it's something that's always been like, you've got to be quite skilled to be sort of really put up there and like remembered in history,
Would you say like Rothkos come under that? Rothkos, do they come under that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know who that is. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna have to see that.
What's that? An acronym.
No.
Oh, is it like an artist?
Yeah.
Artist inspection.
Yeah. See, like something like this, for me...
Because the argument is it's calming, but then it's like you look at Monet paintings, and it's equally as calming,
that's
but
what I'm saying.
it's actually something being displayed.
Exactly, and there's a lot more to it in a sense. Like with these colours, you just don't...
It's just a bit mid, I can't lie.
It doesn't invoke as much as like something like...
This guy's a bit...
See what I'm saying? Like, bro...
It's taking the piss a little bit.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he got bored and said, yo, let me just roll with this. Let's see, if I make it seem... That's one of those things, it's what Virgil Abloh said. It's not even about what you sell, it's how you position it. I bet he just took that to an art gallery and was like, yo, this is like some of the greatest pieces of artwork you've ever seen. They put it in the artwork. People think they're supposed to take it seriously.
Yeah, because they don't. Because they think that's like acquired taste.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like that's why it works, because it's like, well, it is in an art gallery. Oh, it has to be important somehow.
So that's what I'm saying. It's become more like you kind of just have to like move on and sort of just be like, well, since it's in the art gallery, like you said, it must be good.
But that's how it is, I think, with everything. Even like photography stuff, it's all about positioning and how you position your work. So if you can like basically avoid a certain, I guess, stigma or group of people to be banded in with, you kind of excel better. It's like I said it to somebody. It's like I'm retired as an event photographer. I'm like so past it. It's oversaturated now. Like I can't go to one event without one photographer like being there and documenting it, and then I see it on TikTok like a day later. It's like it's oversaturated now. So it's one of those things. It's like I guess it's just what we're positioning.
At the same time, it's like if people don't care about fashion, then it's fine for them to dress how they
Does
want.
that not just make it accessible though? Does that not just make, I guess, the fashion, the art accessible?
Yes, but I also think that the way I see fashion is more the piece than like the silhouette or how it looks. So it's like if you're wearing like the brand, you resonate with it, and you've saved up to spend £40 on a shirt, it's so much more effective than going on ASOS and buying a shirt that's got a similar graphic on it. But like God knows how it was made. Yeah, God knows how it was made. You're also like getting 4 of them, so you're just. It's like the value's going to the wrong place, and then it's like. I guess you can say, okay, you like fashion if you care about the silhouette, but I think it's a different type of fashion than if you look at the art pieces, like if you look at the poses art pieces. But it just bothers me because it's very like sheep behaviour, in my opinion.
I hear it.
Yeah, my camera's gonna die soon.